Singapore is probably best known as the financial hub of Southeast Asia, but for 3 days during the last weekend of September, the economic heart of this island state will be beating to a different rhythm, the frenzied rhythm of a Formula One Grand Prix motor race. It's the first time this supercharged international event is taking place in Singapore, and it's the first time in the world that it's being held at night, so the country is getting ready for a flood of visitors. It's a huge project, so the question is, what's in it for Singapore? Is it worth the effort and the cost?
From tourism, I think there are a few ways we can look at this. I think firstly, the direct economic benefits through tourism. We expect that the race will bring about 100 million Singapore dollars in tourism receipts. At the same time, you rightly pointed out that it's an event being watched by millions of visitors overseas. So it is an opportunity for us to actually brand Singapore and put Singapore in the global map.
So Singapore hopes to generate 50 million euros from the Grand Prix and increased tourism, but whatever the benefits, a pioneering event of this kind does not come cheap. It's the first major high-speed street race in Asia, and all the roads that will be used have had to be resurfaced. The construction of the pit building alone cost 20 million euros, all paid for by the Singaporean government. The prize is not just the extra visitors coming here for the event, it's also the extra television viewers, which the government and Singapore GP, the company behind the venture, are hoping to attract by making it the world's first night race.
If you do the same thing as a normal Grand Prix starting at 2 o'clock, you would probably, say, attract 100 million people. But by doing it at night race, and you reach the whole of Europe on a Sunday afternoon, prime time, and you immediately double your exposure to Europe.
But in order to hold a night race, you need lights. Designed by Italian company Valerio Maioli, the temporary lighting is meant to recreate daylight racing conditions. The Singapore authorities have bought the lights, and they'll be dismantled after the race and stored for next year's Grand Prix. And that makes sense, because Singapore has signed up to host the race for the next 4 years, and has the option to renew for a further 5. So when the big cars gather here to do battle in the Asian night, there'll be a lot riding on the outcome for the investors of Singapore, as well as for the world's motor racing fans.